Howdy and welcome back to Celebrating Vintage Model Kits. Today we've got another Monogram kit. This is actually when Monogram was part of Mattel. This kit came out in 1971. Kit number 5903. And the subject matter is a Fokker DR1 triplane. It's boxed as a Red Baron aircraft. Fairly large box. A little bit different than what we've seen before. This is a snap fit kit, so I think this is the first snap fit we've done on the channel. So let's take a look at what we got here. So as you can see on the box art, got a full color rendition of the DR1 itself. Looks like it does come with a pilot figure. We've got the Monogram logo having a Mattel added to it. The Fokker triplane, emphasizing the snap tight was what Monogram used to designate their snap together kits. As they say here, snaps together, no gluing, no painting, and you've got a motorized propeller. So kind of learning something from some of the Japanese kits that we'd seen from the 60s. Monogram thought, hey, well, let's do that with ours. So you've got the propeller is powered, but the AA battery that's needed is not included. And it looks like this was designed to fit on Monogram's Sky Stick. They had produced this. It was actually a push by Mattel to get more play value out of their models, since Mattel was a toy company, thought of models as being a little more toy-like, so they came up with this Sky Stick thing that you could attach some of their models onto, move the joystick around, the airplane would move around. Wasn't very successful, didn't last very long. So let's look around the rest of the kit. Got a photograph of the completed kit here. Another artist rendition. Some more information about the kit itself. Got the 1971 copyright. On the end, same information. No gluing, no painting. Makes it a little simpler. Then we've got opposite side, looks to be about the same information. And the other end of the box is about the same. So let's see what we got inside here. This is printed straight on the cardboard, so no lithograph glued inside. Much cheaper way of printing. And let's start with the kit instructions. Fairly large, 8.5 by 11 size almost looks like. Got another rendition of the completed aircraft, and some attention stuff, some warnings. If you want to make a stronger model, you can glue it together if you want. You've got step-by-step instruction. Very strangely, they've got hands in the drawings. I'm not sure why they use Comic Sans as on here, but I mean, like, every little step is spelled out here one by one. Almost as if they didn't think modelers knew how to put together a kit with some just basic stuff. And although you do have to give it to them, they do give you a fairly detailed pilot as compared to a lot of the other kits. It's actually a multi-piece pilot, which you don't see too often. Then here's information on how to motorize it. The final steps. And they do give you a stand. This is different from the typical Monogram stand. They did do something a little bit different for it. And how to start. You know, this is actually pretty good, showing you a very, very good replication of these World War I rotary engines, how you would start them. You know, having to crank, the engine. You may remember the old contact, and the guy, grabbing the propeller and spinning it. It's really neat that Monogram took the time to add that really, really accurate detail. You got some more information about the completed kit. You do get a 3 view of it, which is nice. And then some more information about the sky stick. So that's it for those. And it looks like here's the markings that you get with it. No instructions on the back, but it does say on the front, peel off and apply. So it's you don't have to use water for these. Might make it a little bit easier. It does look like there's a lot of film around the outside edge, so somebody may want to trim that a little tighter. But they haven't yellowed over the years, which is nice. But if you have any experience with this style of decal, you can definitely let us know. But I did do some research, was able to find the actual aircraft that this was trying to replicate, and show those to you here. All right, let's take a look at the kit itself. I'll start with the fuselage like we do in most of the videos. So here we have a one piece, or maybe two pieces, because it feels like there should be a piece on the bottom. Yep. And the short bottom wings are actually molded onto the fuselage itself. Not a whole lot of detail being produced on this. Fairly simple. You do get some pretty decent representation of the fabric covering on the wings, but nothing on the fuselage. No, nothing. What is nice is that the markings are not molded on like some of the older kits. You got your landing gear struts here. Here looks like the top wing. Nothing on the bottom. I guess they didn't think anybody would be looking at the kit from underneath, but again, you've got some pretty decent molding of the fabric covering. And here's the bottom of the fuselage with some more of the struts on here. Here's another one of the wings, probably the middle wing. Again, similar. They've got nothing on the bottom of it, but good rendition of fabric on the top. What is annoying is it looks like they've got the copyright date molded on the bottom of the aircraft, which you think they could have molded that on the inside to get a real scale look to it. And then the tailplanes have repeated the fabric covered look. And then the engine cowl. It's nice that it's a nice one piece. Pretty decent. And I think that's the inner wheel strut there, or wing. But, it's hollow on the bottom, which is kind of annoying. Someone's going to have to fill that in. So far, it's not looking like the most accurate kit. Try to scale it out, and going from the measurement stuff, it just doesn't quite scale to anything that I could quite calculate correctly. Somewhere between 1 to 10th to maybe 1 to 50th scale, somewhere in there. Some parts are 1/10th scale, some parts are 1/30th, some parts are 1/40th. So very unusual. You do get a very distinct looking stand, which is nice. And here's part of the pilot figure that we mentioned before. So unlike some of the other kits of this era, you get a fairly detailed pilot. You can actually make out his face on this, which a lot of the other kits, pilot figures, you can. I don't like the fact that it is split down the middle, so you may have to do some filling on the guy's nose and chin. But for once, you do get something you can kind of highlight and paint up a little bit nice. There's the remainder of his flying helmet. Again, it's kind of split down the middle, which is annoying. Oh, you do get separate mustache, which I think is a nice touch, that they spent the time to really give you a fully detailed mustache. Really evokes the era. You get separate wheels. Machine guns are a little bit stylized. And I believe this is the tray for the battery for the motor. And then here is the motor. Unfortunately, they only give you the bottom cylinders, which I guess is kind of okay since the top is covered by the cowling. There's the pilot chest. And, considering how detailed they made the face and head sculpt, he's got a blob for his body. Kind of sad that Monogram couldn't carry over all the details throughout the kit. There's your prop. Pretty well rendered with all the bolt heads on the center hub. Would have been nice to see a little bit of wood grain on here, but it looks fairly accurate. Here's part for the battery. And here's the little motor that you get. So kind of a hit and miss kit. Monogram by this time was making some pretty accurate models, and it's a little disappointed to see how inaccurate the scaling is on this. There are some highlights, there are some details that are pretty good, but there's just a lot of stuff that, for a scale modeler, I'm surprised that Monogram, let themselves slip this much on a kit, especially in 1971. So this kit was, as I mentioned, originally issued in 1970. This is the 71 issue of it. It was issued, I believe, one other time by Monogram. There was a companion, a Sopwith Camel, that seems to kind of suffer the same types of inaccuracies in its rendition. I have not actually seen the kit in person, but from what I've seen online, it looks like they're getting the proportions kind of off on it as well. I mean, Heller was doing, or not Heller, Aurora was doing some pretty accurate World War I aircraft in 1950. So for Monogram to get the proportions this far off this late is kind of a shame. But the Sopwith Camel, the nice thing about it does come with a dog in the kit, which it was a nice little touch, if you're going to be doing a diorama scene. So if you're looking for something along those lines, maybe kind of complete a World War I set, kind of give a airfield look. This kit was reissued again by Atlantis in 2021. Slightly different type of box, but similar artwork. So if you are interested in adding this to your collection, you can definitely still find it out there. So have you built this kit? Is this something that you've had some experience with? Definitely put notes in the comments about that. Really appreciate hearing about that. But I think that's about it for today. So thanks for watching the channel, and have yourself a great rest of your day.